Hello, Dr. Cinema. I just finished watching Stranger Things Season 2. And I like how on the title card at the beginning of each episode it says Stranger Things 2. Not Season 2, just 2. Like it's some sort of like really long movie and it's a sequel. I just love that. So I'm obviously not going to talk about all of the things that happened this season because there's a lot. But I do want to talk about several things. And might as well just tell you now. Spoilers. 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 Now that that warning's out of the way, let's begin, shall we? Alright, so what the hell is this? Don't care. Goddamn phone. No, fucking A. Alright. So the first episode begins roughly a year after the events of the first season, and it's like I think the day or like 2 days before Halloween, and so people are still getting like used to like everything that happened. Like we see Nancy and Steve still together, and Nancy's really trying to uh, dealing with the death of Barbara. We need justice for Barbara. And we do meet Barbara's parents actually, and they say they got in touch with this like investigative journalist who is trying to help them try to figure out what happened to their daughter. And so Nancy and Steve are in an argument about whether they not they should actually tell him, seeing as how much the people at the experiment place said, "Do not tell anyone, or we will do stuff." Which brings back to, I'll get back to that in a little bit. And so it turns out that Sheriff Hopper, like in exchange for making sure that no one finds out what this like organization government thing is doing, that 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 organization keeps whatever they're doing out of Hawkins. So that's pretty much what happened with Hopper there. But also, Hopper's been having Eleven stay in like his home without anyone knowing because he's afraid that once people find out that Eleven is actually here and alive, that they're going to take her away again. And of course, this leads to some conflict at the end between specifically Mike and Sheriff Hopper, but I guess that gets shoved away at the end a little bit, sort of. And Mike, he's really, out of the three other friends of Will, he's the one that took it the hardest of everything that happened. And Lucas and Dustin probably also took it like a little bit hard, but they didn't really show it as much. And now Will's having these episodes of the Upside Down and what is the shadow monster of the season. But the shadow monster is called, what is it called again? What did they end up calling it? Oh, the Mind Flayer. Flayer? Mind Flayer. Yes, Mind Flayer, another Dungeons and Dragons thing. And we also get a new kid character, a girl named Maxine, Mad Max, as she's known in the arcade. And in most of the scenes, she's ended up getting dropped off or picked up by her stepbrother, who's roughly Steve's, Nancy's, and Jonathan's age. And he's a bit of he's not a bit. He is an asshole. I mean, once you actually see, like, hold on. I guess I should explain the Max family. Apparently, Maxine had a mother and father, but they got divorced, and so the father stayed in California, while the mother got married again, who had a son from a previous marriage. Now she has a stepdad and a stepbrother, and now she's in Hawkins. Now, she says that the stepmother wanted, like, a new start, but once you see the stepdad, you gotta wonder why she left Maxine's biological dad, because the stepdad's fucking evil, man. I mean, he's only on screen for like a minute or two at the final episode, but god damn, no wonder the stepbrother Billy is an asshole. But anyway, Steve and Nancy, due to this argument and such, they break up early on in the season. And so Jonathan and Nancy working together to try to figure out a way to bring down the government organization. And so they meet with the investigative journalist and they do have stuff, but they decide to not just release it as it is. They decide to dilute it into like some sort of thing where it still explains what happened to Barbara, but not in a strange supernatural sense, like they're testing a new chemical that was exposed to Barbara and that she died, which is something they believe will actually get the people's attention and the support. And so the new government program organization thing, the people that were in charge of the first season, like with Dr. Brenner, Papa as Eleven calls him, they're gone, pretty much killed off back in season 1, and it's now all run by a new group of people, and the head guy's called, I forgot what his name was, I'm just going to call him the Doctor, and he does seem to actually be a nice, decent guy. Like, whenever Will has an episode, Joyce, his mom, brings Will in, and he tries to help understand what's going on, try to figure out the best way to go from there. And so the shadow monster, turns out, it's got like a hive mind, and it's using it to control Will, and Will also ends up sort of controlling all of the mini Demogorgons. Oh, by the way, there are mini Demogorgons, like dog-like, smaller versions of the Demogorgon, and there is a lot of them. Like, when the first one shows up, you think it's just the one, but no, there's like a freaking army of them. Holy crap. And so, like I said before, Sheriff Hopper and 11, they've been living together, and Hopper's been keeping it secret because, organization might come back and take her away. And this gets a lot of conflict between them, and eventually 11 discovers her real mom is alive and tries to go find her. She does, but her brain was fried by the original Papa, because she tried to save her daughter from the organization. So she can't really speak, but psychically she can send like images and memories and such. And that's when 11 finds out there's another girl like her, test subject 8. And I think in the article where her young girl picture was in, it said she was something about London. Like, was she from London and the American organization went over to get her? Or what was the deal with that? Anyway, so this whole story with like 8 and 11 finding her only lasts for 1 episode, but considering there's 9 episodes, that's kind of a long time. But 8's obviously just manipulating 11 because she's with a gang of people, and they're just trying to find all the people that were mean and abusive to them, just killing them off, which is great. So that only lasts about an episode, and 11 just ends up going back to Hawkins because she realizes that shit's really going down. She has to go help them. But she doesn't actually reunite with the rest of the people until the final episode. And so now we've got the Shadow Monster, the Mind Flayer, the army of mini Demogorgons. And Maxine is part of the group, yeah. She's in here. And everyone's back together with Sheriff Hopper, Nancy, even Steve's back. And I just love how Steve is also part of this too. Like, you have to watch it to understand. But it's actually, I enjoy Steve a lot more in this season. I don't think he got significantly more screen time, but I love Steve. Oh, wait, speaking of characters I love, Bob. Yeah, there's a character named Bob. At the first episode, he's Nancy's boyfriend. Not Nancy, Joyce. Joyce's boyfriend. And I love Bob. I mean, he's the nice, quiet guy from high school that really went unnoticed for the most part, but he ended up dating the woman that was one of the most popular girls in school, which is Joyce. I just really love him. I mean, he's nice, and he's kind of lame, but the good kind of lame. And he's actually really good with Jonathan and and he's just a really great, awesome guy. And even when he's exposed to all this weird stuff, he's like, okay, I'll help, sure. And he's just so great, and he really does help until he gets killed off. No, I love Bob. Well, shit. Well, big climax battle is here, and 11 ends up closing the door to the Upside Down that was opened at the beginning of season 1, and with the exception of Bob, everyone pretty much survives. And so, at the end of the final episode, it's 1 month later after the events, the government organization is shut down thanks to the investigative journalists. Justice is brought to Barbara's family. It's the Winter Ball. So the kids are at the Winter Ball. Lucas is dancing with Max. Wait, let me back up a little bit. Like in the earlier episodes, back when Billy was also had like stay in the. Alright, back when Maxine in the early episodes was still like outcast sort of thing, not really part of the group. Billy sort of sees her interacting with Lucas, and for some asshole-ish reason, he says do not interact with him. And I didn't really think much about it back then because he only sees her interacting with Lucas, not the other kids. So it's just asshole. But then in the final episode, when he locates Maxine and sees her with Lucas and Dustin and Mike, he's like, what are you doing with him, Lucas? I'm like, there are 2 other boys here. Why are you singling out Lucas? Is this a race thing? I still don't know what happened there. Anyway, Winter Ball. They're dancing. Well, gets asked by a girl to dance. Good for him. And Dustin, who's somehow been coached and mentored by Steve, of all people, who even gives him a ride to the Winter Ball. It's like, alright, just go in there, just be you, and don't do that thing with your mouth. Oh yeah, where he goes, like, no, don't do that. Don't know why Steve's his mentor now, but I'll take it. And he ends up actually getting like a nice dance from Nancy, of all people, who's there to serve punch. And it's just it's so cute and friendly and such. It's just hilarious. But then 11, of course, shows up, and Mike and 11 have their dance and their kiss. Everyone's dancing. It's just... Even Hopper and Joyce sort of like are taking comfort in each other because Hopper lost his daughter a long time ago and Joyce lost Bob. So they're just helping each other out through emotional stuff. So it's pretty nice. Then it ends with the upside down image of the shadow monster right over the middle school. Like, what the fuck, Duffer Brothers? This was wrapped up nicely. Now you're just gonna live on some sort of weird, ominous note like that? Everything was wrapped up pretty nicely. Barbara got justice. Bob's death was still good, from a story-wide perspective. But everything was wrapped up. There's nothing really big left over, and you left on that ominous note? You're just teasing us. And I know this was pretty much all over the place. It probably didn't make a lot of sense. I definitely did not cover everything that happened. But I loved Season 2. So, what do you guys think? Comment, like, share, subscribe. See you next time.